shoes. Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold on, your head is bloody.
So we gotta move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay,
Watch out.
Wait. You want to really see something?
Hello, Mr. Shalabh Kumar. This is Abhishek. Please tell us what is the condition of President Trump after this shootout, this assassination bid on him?
He's fine. He's in good spirits, and he's an incredible soul. Very, very brave man. He's essentially taking a bullet for us. I mean, he didn't have to run again. He was very comfortable in his previous life. He's been a president, and very comfortable life he could have lived. And look at all what is the opposition is doing to him. I'm not blaming that this attempt to kill him is from opposition, but there are some crazy people.
You want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Yes, Abhishek.
Yeah, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so and it's like a JFK style, So that's what it appears to be. That this particular Butler, Pennsylvania rally space, whereas Secret Service quickly jumped and neutralized the threat, but in a way were not too careful in checking the surroundings. So it seems like the shot came from, several shots came from about 300-400 feet away. And then the sharpshooters from our side neutralized the shooter, but in the process, one person died. One spectator, one person attending the rally died, and at the same time, two are critically wounded. So this is a stark assassination attempt on President Trump. So because he's running so far ahead in the polls, and this only will actually increase his poll numbers. I mean, you could draw the contrast between President Biden during the debate and look at how feisty, how much of a fighter this man is. We are so lucky to have President Trump as our ex-president, 45th president, and soon to be 47th president.
Shalabh Kumar, yes, of course, but we want some more facts here in India to understand. Trump was addressing this rally.
The base facts are that it was a rally. It was almost like 50,000. He always has his biggest strength is rural America. So it's not in the cities. It's about 50 miles north of Philadelphia, and that's where the rally was taking place. So typical attendance is 40 to 50,000 for in his rallies. There were So people had been waiting 8 or so hours. It's kind of pretty hot these days here. Despite all that, people were waiting that long to attend the rally. And then you could kind of just see it, the facts wise, that the gunman, the sharpshooter, I would say sharpshooter, if he is shooting from the AR weapon, I guess that's what it's called, from say 500, 600 feet away. It's got a range of a little higher range, a little more range. It's also reported that the shooter has had silencer on the gun, so it will not make that much sound. So the bullet just grazed past. I would say probably a couple of millimeters from his brain. He was fortunately looking in the other direction. If he was looking straight, we would have lost President Trump.
That's very serious, Shalabh Kumar, and which means that was this assassin, probable assassin, part of the rally? Did he?
We do not know
any details about that?
No, Secret Service has not. They're very careful when they're going to lay out as to who the person is, what group he belonged to, whether he was a lone shooter or it seemed like it was an assassination attempt by a group. That will be our assessment from talking to the inner circle of President Trump, and so it was definitely an assassination attempt to take him out of the race.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is the first time I believe it's 1981 when Ronald Reagan was targeted. Shalabh Kumar, have you been able to speak to anyone in the Trump? You are a close
not with President,
and you have an idea. You have an idea of the kind of injury that President Trump has suffered.
That's not that big of an injury. He's just fine.
He's fine. He's out of danger. You're saying?
Yeah. He's not in no danger.
Fantastic.
He's in good condition.
And where exactly is President Trump as we speak, Shalabh Kumar?
Pardon me?
Where exactly is President Trump now as we speak?
He's in the hospital.
He's still in the hospital, so you're saying he's out of danger, but he's being treated, he's under observation of doctors.
Yeah, right. He's going to be, thorough examination, a full medical examination, because just go back to, you mentioned Ronald Reagan. Initially, when he was shot, everybody thought he's just fine. And then the injury appeared later, and then it became serious. So, of course, it's, we've learned from there that, you got to check it thoroughly. So he's going to go through some thorough medical examination to make sure that everything is okay. There's blood all over his face, and he is, on his ear. When a bullet passes a couple of millimeters from your brain, everybody wants to make sure that he's okay. So that's the right thing to do.
Absolutely. But have we heard anything from the FBI, from the investigators about the nature of the wound, the nature of the gun used, the assassin, any connections from where he came? What are the antecedents? Motivation.
No, that one, FBI and the motivation has all that. That will take. It'll probably come out in a few hours. If it's clear, because the one thing is for sure the person is dead, and we can check all that out. So FBI is descended on this case, and so very actively covering that. And so, by I would say next 12 hours, we know the whole picture. But the thing is that his spirit is just unbelievable. Just the stark difference between how he acted after getting shot. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, this has really shocked not just Trump supporters, but the establishment also, that a serious challenger and a former president is targeted like this. An assassin is allowed to come that close. You're saying 300, 400 feet?
Yeah, that is a little somewhat surprising. That's I've attended so many of his rallies, and I'm with him so many times in Mar-a-Lago and other events. And in 2016 we had that Hindu rally, and I'm quite familiar with the entire Secret Service operation. The one time I was fully involved in all the planning. So when you have an event outside, they will be more careful from now. They probably will stop having events outside. So that's a lot more difficult if there is if you just imagine if there was in Jallianwala Bagh, if there was something like that, an event taking place, and it's all surrounded by buildings, and there could be hundreds of shooters there. So that you have to stop. It's a challenge for Secret Service to protect President Trump, because he's so outgoing and he attends so many rallies and there's so many people in his rally. It's a difficult challenge. So from now on, I think it's going to be enclosed space.
Obviously, and what kind of security detail typically follows a president, like a former president like Trump, in terms of the number of security personnel around him in close proximity, and the security sweep that is carried out around him, at least in a rally, so that the president is secure?
Well, the people right next to him, there's like 5-6. Okay, that's the Secret Service protective detail who is there to protect the body of the president or the presidential candidate. So that's that situation. Now, of course, that's the first level protective bodies, and then you have people surrounding. There will be at least 200 people from the local police, local state troopers, police. And as well as the federal and from Secret Service, so many sharpshooters, they had that very quickly neutralized the shooter in this case. So there's 200 people or so involved in a Secret Service campaign.
Right. Before I let you go, Shalabh Kumar, my last question. Have you heard from the White House? What's the reaction of the Democrat establishment to the kind of assassination bid made on President Trump?
Well, I think Democrats would be wishing that it did not happen, and it didn't happen the way it did. So, it just makes... it draws a huge contrast between President Biden and President Trump. President Biden was slowly, I'm now talking political, that he was slowly coming out of the hole with his 1 hour speech press conference yesterday. And so now, all the people are going to remember is President Biden's debate performance, and look at draw the contrast between President Biden at debate and President Trump today when there was an assassination attempt on him. I mean, he's not shaken at all. The pictures, I'm sure you're seeing it. He was not shaken up at all. That's why I started out my conversation by saying he's an incredible soul.
So this would really, you think, going to add to Trump numbers and embolden Trump supporters to come out and make sure that his election bid is credible, more serious, and more challenging to Democrat President Joe Biden?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people look at what happened today, and there's going to be major news coverage, even from CNN, MSNBC, of course, Fox and Newsmax and all that. When they look at his pictures and how he behaved, everybody would say, so many independents will say, so many Democrats even will say, this is what we want in our president. So
absolutely,
he definitely
Shalabh Kumar, we have been focusing on getting all the details. Thank you so much for joining us at this short notice, and we'll keep coming back to you whenever there are more details to share, and of course as the political situation emerges around this assassination bid on President Donald Trump. Thank you so much for joining us.
And viewers, that was an exclusive conversation with the Trump aide. And now we are being joined by a special guest, who's Rabindra Sachdeva, who's an international affairs expert. Thanks so much, Mr. Sachdeva, for joining us this morning at Republic TV. Now, this is, of course, a big shocker that has come in from the United States. We've heard of, shooting. It's rampant in the United States, and we've woken up to such news many a times, shootouts happening in the United States. But this happening at a former president's rally, that, of course, is a big shock that has come in, really raises certain, security concerns in America with, what they call the top-notch security services, the Secret Service.
Well, thank you so much. Good morning. Yeah, shocking news, and it raises questions about security. Firstly, the question about security, how could the security perimeter around and the cocoon in which, an ex-president is there, and also now the nominee. In fact, I think, after the convention, he will get the same, protections as the president, but even the ex-president has a good degree, and knowing that he is a public figure of such, such stature, this is absolutely a security lapse, will be investigated. We do not know what will be the outcome. Was it a lone wolf? Most probably, single person with an intent to take out Trump for his political ideology. Or, at times there are, attempts when somebody has a personal vendetta. Remember, like in the case of Shinzo Abe, the guy who killed Shinzo Abe was not because of Abe's politics, but was because Abe was associated with the church, which was kind of in a way milking his mother of her wealth, right? He was angry with that. The attempt on Ronald Reagan, by the way, John Hinckley, he attempted assassination on Reagan, not for his political reasons, but because he wanted to impress Jodie Foster, the actor of Taxi Driver, with whom he was obsessed, and he thought that if I can, assassinate him, I'll be able to impress her. He was insane, right? So there are those kind of outliers also, but yes, probability is that someone with a deep anger, deep hatred, actually, to the point of wanting to kill someone has taken place. So this is definitely a very shocking development and also coming at a time when America is headed into an election, a hugely contested election, of which, of course, Trump is the one pole and the other pole is Joe Biden, right? And both sides look at the other as a complete evil. Right. The Republican core of Trump supporters, they think that the Biden or the Democrats, they are communists, they have a deep state, they're weaponizing the DOJ, they're weaponizing the FBI, Secret Service to go after Trump. And the Democrats feel that Trump will be authoritarian dictator totally. So there's a huge divide. Heat of the political campaign at a time like this, something like this happening is truly will have major reverberations, I would say. Yes.
Even the Elon Musk also on the on a social media platform X has also said that this is extreme incompetence. He's actually responding to a tweet by a user where there is a certain Twitter handle that says that how was a sniper with a full rifle kit allowed to bear crawl onto the closest roof to a presidential candidate, and that's where Elon Musk also raises the question that it's extreme incompetence or it was deliberate, and nevertheless he's says that the Secret Service must resign on this. And then, of course, question also, it actually, it raises these concerns that how can somebody with a sniper and, even the AR-style rifle, in fact, what we are understanding as far as the law enforcement officials are concerned, that there is an AR-style rifle that has been recovered. Tell us more about what sort of weapon is this, and how could this not have been, identified or detected by the security forces?
Oh yeah, hugely. I mean, AR, I guess would refer to assault rifles, right? The main capability of these rifles is that to fire a large number of rounds quickly and fastly, like in a burst. And actually, AR rifles also come with something known as an enhancer. They already shoot pretty fast, like let's say within 1 second, maybe 5 rounds. They come with enhancers, which further enhances this, the rate of the shooting. That is, within 1 second or within 10 seconds, the number of shots that are fired are like doubled, right? So it could be that kind of a rifle, but if it's that kind of a rifle, those are normally not, something like a pocket knife you can keep in your pocket and come up, as you very rightly say, or as is being questioned, that those rifles are a little bit bigger, bulkier, right, to bring them out. Or somebody could have bought it in pieces, okay, and then assembled it wherever he or she was on the rooftop. But whichever way, it is a lapse of security. Now, speaking of Elon Musk, that's an interesting one. Yesterday or so, I think it was reported that Musk is donating a sizable amount to the Trump campaign. That was yesterday. After this this incident of this attempt of today, I think Musk has now, quote unquote, endorsed Trump. So far, he had not used that language, right? He had said, yeah, I'm support. Trump kind of, Musk definitely kind of believes in the conservative cause, right? Or in the conservative bent of mind. So it was known that he's contributing to the campaign. That's one thing, sure. And now he's made a larger amount to donation, unknown apparently. But the other thing is that, he has gone on to say that I am endorsing Trump. So that's a little bit, more of a escalation for Musk with regards to his support of Trump.
In fact, there's also, now how this campaign actually moves forward. That's quite interesting to, actually understand here, Mr. Rabinder Sachdeva, because that moment where, Trump just gets up, that's also drawing a lot of reaction, the way Trump, before he gets into the car, after the attack, the way he's actually, pumping his, the fist in the air. That very image, is actually quite something that is, garnering a lot of reactions on social media. But what really happens from here on as far as Trump's candidacy is concerned, his election, this presidential race is concerned?
Interesting point. One, I think in any case like this, there's a certain element of sympathy, okay, which arises for the candidate whosoever faces such a situation. Secondly, you're very rightly talking about the picture of Trump when he is kind of being taken away, his hands, fist held high, and saying that we will fight, etc. So and I'm sure it must be happening already right now. It is happening that, given the political context, the Republican Party communication machine would be pumping out this image as a contrast to a faltering Biden, right? That's pure simple politics, and they'll be doing it. That, look here, our candidate, even after being shot, right, has the energy, which can be seen in these pictures, right? And whereas this other candidate, they'll put together some clips of Biden stumbling on an aircraft, etc. And in this day and age of memes and all, you can bet absolutely that those particular images will be played around like that in terms of promotion of the candidates. But yes, overall, the campaign has heated up even more, if it was possible, because now it will be that for the radical right base, they will look at it as that the Democrats, the liberals, the so-called communists are coming out to kill them, to kill their leader. That would be the prism through which the hardcore Republicans would look at this incident.
Absolutely. In fact, we're also joined by another special guest, Edward Joseph, who's a member of faculty at Johns Hopkins University, also joins us in the broadcast. Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph, for joining us here at Republic TV. What we're understanding is that this incident is being treated as an assassination bid. Now, how do you see this attack coming in right in the middle of the presidential campaign on a former president of the United States? How do you react to this?
Good to be with you, the other guest, and of course your viewers. And first of all, we have to be very clear that the main concern and focus should be on the condition of President Trump, and to understand and assure that he's healthy and will fully recover from this shooting. And then second is the concern about apparently the innocent victim, at least one innocent victim from the shooting. So we have to mourn that individual. And we have to, of course, note, as President Biden and Democrats up and down the line, including the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, we have to join them in condemning this political violence. And as President Biden has said, and others, including Governor Shapiro and other Democratic governors, have stated clearly up and down the line that there is no place for political violence. And we have to understand how dangerous it is, how dangerous it is when there are assassination attempts to change the course of political developments through violence, because there's no end to it. The violence against one candidate then, in the minds of others, justifies violence against another candidate. And then before you know it, the entire purpose of having a democratic process is gone, which is precisely to use ballots and not bullets to resolve political differences. So we have to always remember just how dangerous political violence is, and it's heartening to see the very quick response by Democrats, including President Biden, to condemn this. And not only that, President Biden has gone to the measure of having his campaign pull his advertisements. So advertisements of President Biden that are critical of former President Trump have been pulled down now. So this is a sign of the responsibility and the seriousness with which people take this. Now, we can discuss further what are the implications, both for former President Trump and for President Biden. What are the political implications? And I'm happy to discuss that with you. Please.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I want to ask this from you, as we were just discussing with Robin. How does this really reshape the elections? Because that imagery, speaks volumes, and the way even, his son, Eric Trump, is, posting that picture saying this is the fight America needs. There's so many people who are actually, spilling a lot of hate against the Democrats, against Biden, almost blaming Biden for what has happened. But how does this really shape this presidential race from here on?
Okay, let's look at it from both perspectives. Let's look at it from the Republican perspective of former President Trump, and then let's look at it from the perspective of current President Biden. So this type of an event, as your other guest, I just heard him say correctly, when a candidate survives an assassination attempt, the natural impulse, of course, is for a lot of sympathy to go to that candidate, and of course or political figure, and we go back to the 1980s when President Reagan had an assassination attempt, and enormous sympathy flowed to him in part because of the way it was reported that he reacted. He took even while he was being taken into surgery, that he was calm and joking with the surgeons, and this sang-froid of President Reagan resonated very well with the American public, even those who are not supporters of him. In this case, you have these photographs. These are images that people will not forget of this defiance by President Trump holding his fist and showing a determination, as in this dramatic photograph with blood streaming down his face and the Secret Service around him. This is an image of defiance, of strength, and his supporters and others who maybe not his supporters, but who will recognize and possibly even respect that, even if they're not supporters. But his supporters definitely will be animated by this. It will show them that this notion of him being a fighter and defiant, and even in the face of great danger, here he's showing his determination. So that it is clear that goes to his political benefit, and the timing is quite propitious for him right before the Republican convention. And here we come to the interesting question of his vice presidential pick. Because that type of a pick, the calculation that goes into it is normally compensatory. So a president will choose a vice president to sort of shore up some perceived vulnerability, either geographically, so someone who's from the South or the West or somewhere where the main candidate is not from, or some other perceived vulnerability or weakness. In this case, this may influence what former President Trump, how he approaches this, because he can say that he no longer needs to prove to anyone that he's tough. He doesn't need a vice president to in any way shore that up. So he might change his calculation as to who he chooses for his vice presidential pick. And finally, let me make this one other point. This is the concern. The concern is that among his supporters, and particularly what we see already on social media, is that his supporters may read this as proof of some conspiracy to get President Trump. And this is where it becomes very dangerous, because here we come to these allegations about deep state, and there will be all sorts of conspiracies, of course, on social media. Oh, why didn't the Secret Service stop the guy? And why didn't they stop the shooter? And all of this type of messaging that can link back to this Project 2025 and this determination to clean out the state and tackle the deep state. And that is what is quite dangerous. And I'm happy to discuss the impact on President Biden as well. Please.
Absolutely. Thank you. I will request Mr. Hopkins and Mr. Sachdeva to please stay on with us. We will quickly slip into a very, very short break right now, viewers. But remember, this is the big story that we're tracking this Sunday morning. The former president of the United States, Donald Trump, has escaped an assassination attempt. He is in the hospital right now. Authorities are telling the media that he's doing fine. We will be keeping a track of more developments. Stay tuned with the public.
Take a look at what happened.
Amity University Dubai has been awarded as the best university campus in the Middle East by Forbes magazine and recognized as the best university for job placements. Jumpstart your global career in Dubai with Amity, with faculty and students from over 50 nationalities. Visit amity.edu/Dubai.
मैंने कोई जिद बहस नहीं की। वहाँ पे लेडीज़ कांस्टेबल नहीं होती है, तो जहाँ लेडीज़ कांस्टेबल नहीं होती हमें भी पता होता है वहाँ नहीं होती है, बट उन लोगों ने कहा कि लेडीज़ कांस्टेबल, मैंने कहा बुलाओ, तो उसने मेरे से अभद्र बातें करना स्टार्ट कर दिया।
कमेंट कर
हाँ, अश्लील कमेंट कर रहे थे कि तुम मेरा कहा मानोगी तो तुम चैन पाओगी। मुझे गुस्सा बहुत तेज आ गया, मैं अपना मानसिक संतुलन खो बैठ गया।
more like what we heard. The bullets rattling around the grandstand. One hit the speaker tower, and then chaos broke. We hit the ground, and the police converged to the grandstands. The first thing I heard was a couple of cracks. Then I saw a hydraulic line. One of the speakers looked like it had gotten hit. Then I heard, like Chris said, a couple of bullets rattling around. And then we hit the deck, and once the authorities converged, we assisted with two patients that may have gotten shot up in the grandstand. Then we cleared a path for getting them out of the way, and it's just a sad day for America.
Really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Amity University, Dubai has been awarded as the best university campus in the Middle East by Forbes magazine and recognized as the best university for job placements. Jumpstart your global career in Dubai with Amity, with faculty and students from over 50 nationalities. Visit amity.edu/Dubai.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Well, a very good morning to all of you viewers watching Republic TV. I'm Kriti Mehta. You're watching live this morning. Big news that remains our top focus today is the assassination attempt on former US President Donald Trump that he narrowly escaped. We'll tell you all about that in more detail. But first, let's take a quick check of the headlines.
American Pistachio presents cracking news of the hour.
Shootout at Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. Former US President rushed off the stage by Secret Service. Law enforcement agencies informed that the shooting at Donald Trump's rally is being investigated as an attempted assassination of the former president. Reports suggest that possibly two shooters were active and that the assassin was atop a building 100 meters away from the spot. Preliminary information suggests that an AR-style rifle was recovered from the spot of the attack. Wishes pour in from global leaders for former President Donald Trump after attempted assassination attack. dramatic turn of events during Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. 7 rounds were fired towards the former president and Republican candidate. Trump made a very narrow escape and was escorted out by the Secret Services and quick responders. The primary suspect and his aide were gunned down. Trump's shooting is, of course, being investigated as an attempted assassination. In fact, this appears to be the first assassination attempt since Reagan was shot in 1981, and Trump was injured in the shootout, but statements put out by various officials confirmed he is in good spirits. Let's in fact show you how the entire sequence panned out.
Take a look at what happened.
All right, viewers, before we play out that entire sequence for you, we want to show you how 7 rounds were fired at Donald Trump. He was addressing a rally in Pennsylvania when sharpshooters from a distance of only 100 meters took a shot at the Republican candidate. The White House has condemned the attack on Donald Trump, who is also the former United States president. But
that chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said,
issue a statement that Trump is doing fine. And viewers, I'm now joined in by Edward Joseph, who's a member of faculty at Johns Hopkins University in the United States. And I'm also joined in by Robinder Sachdeva, who is an international affairs expert. A very good morning to you both. I want to come to you first, Edward. Now, this is really a dramatic turn of events that has panned out in the United States, something that I believe was last seen in 1981 when Reagan was shot at. How do you see this, event panning out for the upcoming elections now?
Yes, it's definitely a shocking event, and it comes at a momentous time in the campaign with the Republican convention scheduled for just next week. So this even raises the drama for that, as President Trump will be nominated as the Republican nominee. So it comes at quite a moment of extremely high political attention in the United States. And again, first, we have to say that we have to hope that former President Trump, in fact, is okay and that he fully recovers from this. And we have to, second, not forget that there was loss of life at this event and mourn the innocent victim or victims. It's not clear exactly. Of this shooting attempt. So this was an extremely serious event. And as I mentioned previously, yes, like with President Reagan, anytime that there's an attempt on a candidate like this, it tends to very naturally draw national sympathy to that candidate. And in this case, President Trump, with the photographs here showing pumping his fist defiantly with blood streaming down his face. This is a dramatic image for former President Trump. And again, the concern that I have is that we already see on social media all of these unsubstantiated claims, these wild conspiracy theories about deep state conspiracy here, and we're going to probably hear more about how the FBI or the Secret Service or this one or that one was somehow involved in this. And the additional danger here is that this would mesh with the message of some of these supporters of Donald Trump to do this massive focus and change within the United States civil service, and to go after this so-called deep state. So this is where we always have a concern beyond just the welfare of President Trump and, of course, the victims of this shooting. We have this political concern of how this will be mobilized and instrumentalized. Now, for President Biden, this presents a conundrum, a very serious problem for President Trump. So he and other Democrats following his lead have up and down condemned this shooting immediately, without reservation, and condemned the notion of political violence, and correctly, because, again, it's so dangerous, there's no end to it. And so he has acted responsibly. He's even pulled his advertising so as not to be seen to be attacking President Trump when he's in the hospital recovering from this very serious incident. This presents an additional political problem for President Biden, because he's under such scrutiny right now to show his viability as a candidate. And the way he was attempting to demonstrate his vigor and fitness, both to continue as president and also to take on and to defeat Donald Trump, was to go on the attack against Donald Trump, which he did in a speech in a campaign rally, and to show this fire, that he has this fire, and in this way to try to quell all the doubters within the Democratic Party following his disastrous debate performance at the end of June against former President Trump. So now that's very difficult for President Biden to continue in that vein, at least in the short run. Again, he's already had to pull his advertising, and now he will have to pull his punches. He cannot be seen to be attacking in a harsh way a man who just had a brush with death and who's recovering now in a hospital or some medical facility in Pennsylvania. So it's very complicating now for President Biden to do what he wants to do, to show his viability as a candidate. So that's how the immediate implications of this on the Democratic side. Please.
Right. Stay on, Mr. Joseph. I also want to bring in Rabinder Sachdeva at this point. Now, Mr. Sachdeva, very pertinent point put across by Mr. Joseph here. You know, even as Trump is supposedly becoming a favorite among pollsters and in the backdrop of Biden's rather poor performance in the debates, now this assassination attempt on Donald Trump, do you think the votes are going to sway in favor of Trump in the November elections?
Difficult to say, but yes, definitely, as Edward is saying, there's always a sympathy basis. And of course, within the supporters of Trump, they will still be on with him. The question is some of the independent and swing voters, right? Would some of them move towards Trump? So let's see, the jury is out on that, but there could be a chance. However, yes, this plays out in multiple narratives. There are multiple optics to it. One itself plays into Trump's image as a macho guy, right? Contrasted with Biden. You can very soon be seeing on social media memes which will contrast, let's say, Trump's bravado, holding his fist up with his blood, streaming down the ear and cheeks. And on the other side, they will be showing Biden stumbling as he climbs the stairs of an aircraft, right? Whatever. So those will be some stark contrasts coming out there.
Right.
And this also reinforces Trump's fighter image. he says, to his base and his political propaganda is that, I'm fighting for you, the Americans who support him, and that there are elements out there who want to, take me out. What he says, the deep state which Edward refers, that is the American administration officials who are communists and who do not want Trump ever to come to power, right? So this is another instance of some of that playing out, that look here, first they were hauling me up in the courthouses, they could not succeed in the courts to stop me. That's when he says, the Biden administration is weaponizing the Department of Justice, that is, it's using FBI for its political purposes.
Right,
That's
hold on,
Trump
Mr. Sachdev. I just want to put out a quick breaking news that we are bringing at the moment. Now, Biden has spoken with Trump after this apparent attempt on the Republicans' life. That's the latest breaking news that we are bringing you, viewers. U.S. President Joe Biden has spoken to Donald Trump. This even as he had given out a statement earlier assuring that Trump is doing well and that they are in touch with the agencies to probe the entire sequence, how it panned out. The White House, of course, has condemned the incident, and now in the latest, what we're learning is that U.S. President Joe Biden has had a word with Donald Trump. We will be putting out the details of that entire conversation once we're clear on it. But what we know for sure is that the two rivals have spoken after this assassination attempt on Donald Trump. I want to come back to you, Mr. Sachdeva, at this point, and I would have you complete your statement.
Sure. Thank you very much. So definitely playing out multiple ways. No, what Biden has done, let's say for this particular phone call, it's definitely the very right thing to do, the very gracious thing to do, the very civil thing to do, right? One. And also, the Biden campaign has stopped its advertising, I think for some number of hours, or at least 12 hours or 24 hours or whatever, because not to be seemingly taking advantage of an opponent who has been injured or who has, faced a threat to his life. So these are absolutely the right things to do. The thing is that what happens after these 24 hours and what happens not only between what Trump says, by the way, when he's back on his feet by tomorrow morning or day after or something, how he alludes to it. Does he also say that this was an attempt by the deep state within the Democrats who are out to get me? Does he say that? I do not know. I hope he will not. I don't think he will. But on the other hand, he can definitely reinforce his image as a fighter. As a fighter for his base, for the electorate that is going to vote for him, and he'll say, look here, I'm fighting for you. They're out to get you. I stand between them and you. If I'm not there, then the deep state or the communists and the leftists are coming for your homes and your guns, right? So that is his one basic narrative, right? So he will be able to reinforce on that. And secondly, yes, Biden will be in a slightly, tricky situation. Only yesterday, Biden really changed his rhetoric with regards to Trump.
Right. In fact, Mr. Sachdeva, sorry to interrupt you once again, but Prime Minister Modi has also reacted to the assassination attempt. He's taken to social media to put out a statement, and I want to read that out for our viewers now. Prime Minister Modi has said that he is deeply concerned by the attack on my friend, former President Donald Trump. Strongly condemned the incident. Violence has no place in politics and democracies. Wish him speedy recovery. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family of the deceased, those injured, and the American people. So Prime Minister Modi coming out and issuing a statement on the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Of course, several leaders earlier have already condemned the violent attack on former US President Donald Trump. And even as Biden and Donald Trump have had a word, Prime Minister Modi is the latest global leader to come out and condemn the incident in his statement, saying violence has no place in politics and democracies. So, Mr. Sachdeva, this is, of course, the oldest democracy that we are talking about, the United States, where gun violence continues to be an issue. You know, in 2023 itself, there were apparently 40,000 cases of gun violence. And now in the latest, we're seeing an attack on who is supposedly going to be the next US president, if pollsters are to be believed.
Thank you. Certainly, the easy availability of guns in the United States, I think, is a topic of an altogether different discussion and is worth maybe 1,000 PhDs, right? And still there will be no resolution to it. Yes, America is unfortunately in a situation where gun culture is, guns are absolutely easily available. So that's a huge issue. And by the way, that's one of the topics or one of the campaign issues of the Democrats, but they've never succeeded in that, being able to curb the gun culture in the US. Now, assassination attempt, yes, once again, back to Trump will get some sympathy from his own folks and from the independent middle swing kind of folks. The problem for Biden is that, only yesterday Biden has changed his rhetoric hugely with respect to Trump to cover up for the debacle from the debate. Yesterday, Biden used words like, he is a rapist, he is a criminal. Okay, from his podium, he said Trump is a racist according to the judges. He didn't say that, I'm saying it, quoting those. So that's a huge shift for Biden to kind of go aggressively after Trump. Now, with this incident, probably at least for already they pulled back their advertising, the right thing to do. But let's say within 24 hours, things will be back to business as usual. But still, I think Biden will have to really think that can he or should he be going as aggressively against Trump as he was starting to go yesterday. Because the more he does that now, again, you see, Trump has created an image of an outlaw hero, not like a Robin Hood, but something like that, let's say a Robin Hood. That, he does not care for the law. Okay, and he's the outsider. That's what he projects. He doesn't care for the law. He's the outsider, but he doesn't care for the law because he is working towards a bigger mission. Okay, so in pursuit of that bigger vision and mission, he's not, he doesn't care for the law. And in the process, he's bringing the benefits to the masses. So that Robin Hood, fighter, outlaw, hero image of Trump would get a further boost. If not a boost, but let's say reinforcement.
Okay, I just want to get back to Mr. Joseph at this point, and sorry to keep you waiting for that long, but really want to talk about, how such major security lapses were allowed at Trump's event, and the assassin who we're learning was a sharpshooter fired from a distance of only 100 meters. Mr. Joseph, that is really startling considering we're talking about Donald Trump, who has been a former president, is a Republican candidate, is among the favorites among the pollsters.
When it comes to the pollsters and of course the journalists, we have a number of questions there. The pollsters have all of a sudden waken up to the fact that Joe Biden is in a serious deficit to former President Trump. The wider question, of course, about the debate and the debacle that President Biden faces from the debate is, where were the journalists reporting on his decline? It's as if they were asleep. And then suddenly there was this revelation at the debate that there was an issue with President Biden's cognitive functioning. Well, was it only apparent at that debate? Why weren't the journalists reporting on that beforehand? That was again one of the questions and the criticisms that has emerged after the debate debacle for President Biden, with some criticism directed at the journalists themselves, by the general public and also by the Biden administration and Joe Biden supporters. But again, this is apparent assassination attempt on former President Trump, this dramatically changes the complexion here. So, and again, it puts President Biden in a weak position because just Friday in Wisconsin, he was on the attack. And again, he had to be. He had to demonstrate. Why was he on the attack on Friday? Because he had to demonstrate two things. One, that he had the vigor, that he was not this elderly man with suffering from decline and cognitive inabilities who had put in this disastrous performance on the debate. So number one, he had to show that he was capable and competent. And number two, he had to go on the attack to show to Democrats that he could make the campaign about Trump and about the dangers of Donald Trump returning to the White House and not have it continuously be about President Biden and his apparent mental decline.
Right, hold on,
So,
Mr. Joseph. Actually, my point being more about security lapses than posters at this point, and that's the big news that in fact I'm going to break for our viewers at the moment. We are learning that security was in fact informed in advance of the presence of shooter. So clearly a major security lapse emerging in the Trump shooting. That's in fact also a big question now. The one that I was pointing to you, Mr. Joseph, but that's the big news that we are breaking for your viewers now. That security was in fact informed in advance of the presence of the shooters. So a significant lapse has now emerged in the incident, and this revelation raises some serious questions about the effectiveness of the security measures in place. And this is what I would like you to address at this point, Mr. Joseph. How are these security lapses allowed during a rally of a Republican candidate?
Actually, I will address this in two ways. First, I would say that we have to be very cautious with these reports. We cannot accept these at face value. That the Secret Service was informed about the suspect. Says who? Who says this? How do we know this? Because some ticker has said this? We have to make judgments about this based on facts. And these coming in like this are not reliable. We have to have facts that are established before we can make some kind of a judgment about lapses in security. That's number one. Number two is we talk about apparently, and again, this is unconfirmed, that this shooter may have used an AR-15 rifle. Of course, this is ironically the one that is brandished by a number of Republicans. They're in a defiant fashion, that they're very proud that there should not be control of such a weapon. Well, that weapon has quite a significant range. So was there a security lapse, or was this person concealed at some distance, exploiting the range of a powerful weapon like the AR-15? We don't know that. So I would be extremely cautious about relying on breaking news reports about lapses here and lapses there. We don't know that, and those would have to be established. And then the third is I can speak from personal experience about an assassination, a dramatic assassination that unfortunately took place in South Asia, and that was of the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Benazir Bhutto, right, who I met less than 24 hours before this tragic assassination that took place in Rawalpindi, and I met her in Peshawar less than 24 hours beforehand. And I witnessed the type of security because I attended the rally that she held in Peshawar at a cricket stadium less than 24 hours before she was assassinated. Now, there were all sorts of questions. Was the Pakistani security? Were there lapses? There were all sorts of questions. And again, the only answer to this is to rely on facts that are established before trafficking in rumors about that. And so we have to operate here with a measure of caution before jumping to conclusions about that. And again, I emphasize that this is particularly the case where there are all these social media conspiracy theories already circulating about a supposed deep state conspiracy. Right. So it's for the responsible journalists should be doubly careful about establishing that these are facts. Are there, were lapses there? It's a legitimate question, but before reporting that there are, these have to be clearly established. Please.
All right. Just want to tell our viewers that the fact that security was informed in advance was a statement made by an eyewitness at the rally. Of course, that is not authenticated by any agencies as yet. So that's only an eyewitness account that we will be playing out for you viewers in a short while from now. But for now, it's time for a very quick break. I would request our guests to kindly stay on with us. We will come back after this very short break.
Something that said, take a look at what happened.
मैंने कोई जिद बहस नहीं की, वहाँ पे लेडीज़ कांस्टेबल नहीं होती है, तो जहाँ लेडीज़ कांस्टेबल नहीं होती हमें भी पता होता है वहाँ नहीं होती है, बट उन लोगों ने कहा कि लेडीज़ कांस्टेबल, मैंने कहा बुलाओ, तो उसने मेरे से अभद्र बातें करना स्टार्ट कर दिया।
कमेंट कर
हाँ, अश्लील कमेंट कर रहे थे कि तुम मेरा कहा मानोगी तो तुम चैन पाओगी। मुझे गुस्सा बहुत तेज आ गया, मैं अपना मानसिक संतुलन खो बैठी।
Your motion to dismiss with prejudice is granted. Your motion to dismiss with prejudice is granted. Now, with respect to the jury, I don't imagine you all want to return on Monday. I will take care of the...
Welcome back, viewers. Now, top focus remains on the assassination attempt on former US President Donald Trump, a very narrow escape that Trump made while addressing his campaign rally in Pennsylvania. We will pan out all those details for you in a short while from now. I just want to take a quick check of the headlines at 8:30 for you.
American Pistachio presents cracking news of the hour.
Shootout at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. Former US President rushed off the stage by Secret Service.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Law enforcement agencies informed that the shooting of Donald Trump's rally is being investigated as an attempted assassination of the former president. Reports suggest that possibly two shooters were active and that the assassin was atop a building 100 meters away from the spot and was shot dead. Preliminary information suggests that an AR-style rifle was recovered from the spot of the attack. Biden issues a statement, says everybody must condemn attack on Trump, hopes to speak, and has spoken, in fact, to ex-president. Elon Musk endorses Trump after a rally. Shooting, says head of US Secret Service should resign. Wishes pour in from global leaders for former President Trump after attempted assassination attack. And viewers, two guests continue to join us this morning after this assassination attempt on Donald Trump. I'm joined in by Rabinder Sachdeva, who is an international affairs expert, and Mr. Edward Joseph, who is a member of faculty at Johns Hopkins University. I will come back with my guests, but before that, let's show you how that entire sequence where Trump was shot at during a rally in Pennsylvania panned out.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Are we good to move?
We're clear.
Let's move. Let's move.
We're clear.
Come on.
Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we got to move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay, my shoes down. Get the shoe.
Watch out.
Wait. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Good to move.
We're clear.
Let's move. Let's move.
We're clear.
Come on.
Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we got to move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay, my shoes down. Get the shoe.
Watch out.
Getting you the latest update, viewers, now. In a fresh statement, Trump has said that he was shot in the ear during the rally, and one attendee and shooter are dead. That's the latest that we are bringing you, viewers, as per reports. Trump says he was shot in the ear. We, of course, showed you the visuals where blood stains on Trump's face were evident after the attack. And now reports say that Trump has said that bullet pierced the upper part of his right ear. Well, that's only as per reports. As of now, we will await a confirmation on that. Earlier, we had brought two statements wherein Trump's son and a spokesperson had confirmed that he was doing fine and is in good spirits. But in the latest, reports suggest that Trump is saying that the bullet, in fact, pierced the upper part of his right ear, and we did play out those blood-spat-faced visuals of Donald Trump. I just want to go back to my guests who are joining us on this bulletin. Want to come back to you, Mr. Sachdeva. Now, I was talking about gun violence and how this is, of course, a big campaign for Biden himself, who's vowed to end gun violence. And in fact, just in 2024 itself, I'm getting in numbers, 5,000 deaths due to gun violence in the United States. And now an AR-style rifle recovered from the site of the attack. How is the US really going to, solve this recurrent issue that it continues to face and continues to claim more lives in the United States than road deaths in India?
Most unfortunately, this equation will never be solved. Unless, who knows, Trump has a huge change of heart after this incident, and he says, you know what? Ban guns, but he will not be able to do that because the base which supports him very much wants guns. And guns for them they look at guns as an expression of firstly self-defense, okay, and again going into the realm of conspiracy theories or the far right theories, the idea therein is that the federal government is out to get you and someday they're going to come and take your homes away. So that's one category of folks who say, I want my gun. Then there's a hunting culture. People love to hunt. There are lots of people. In fact, most of the reasons for the easy availability of guns is that because, I want to hunt. I want to use it as a sport. So that, that narrative or that reality or that culture in the US will be, is I think perhaps almost impossible to change. There have been efforts, mostly more by the Democrats, to kind of tweak the gun laws and to bring about some changes, but they've not been able to reach anywhere. On the other hand, if it's a Republican administration anytime, then generally Republican administration will not take any steps towards, eliminating the gun culture. According to the Republican philosophy or the conservative philosophy, the fault lies not in the gun, but the fault lies in the person or the issue, right? So thereby saying that even if you take away the gun, it does not matter. Any incident which happens, like even in the case of school shootings, imagine, where a 10-year-old kid can take a gun from his home lying, which his dad has, and goes and shoots and kills people. There, the defense of that thing is that, why did the child do it? Of course, there would have been a mental pressure or a mental depression. So treating those causes rather than the gun. Why was the gun maybe freely available in the house? Maybe those kind of questions would come. But never the question would come that let us make guns difficult to get. And that is not going to change, unfortunately.
And very interestingly, even as Hunter Biden is under trial over the same issue of securing a gun license, I in fact want to bring in Utsav Chakrabarti, who's the executive director of Hindu Action. At this point, he's joining us. A very good morning to you, Mr. Chakrabarti. How do you see this entire sequence panning out in the larger geopolitical context? Especially, how do you see this affecting India and the Indian diaspora in the United States?
So what this clearly shows is the weakening of Americans' faith in the systems. So, more and more people in America had lost faith in the legacy media over the past few years. More and more people in America have lost faith in the ability of our democratic institutions to be impartial, including the elections. So this is just going to further exacerbate this problem. And this will strengthen the adversaries of America. the critiques of America. And it will give them a logical way to accuse us of being a nation where free speech and democracy are under threat, including that of a former president. So this is not good in the global space, in the geopolitical space. And it is something that people in America, all of us, have to think about and figure out ways so that we can come out of this divisive rhetoric that has fully been entrenched in our political system now. And we have to come out of this divisive politics and figure out ways to unite as a nation. So I think that is important. And I think this will have tremendous negative effect on America's standing in the geopolitical space.
Right. All right. I want to come back to you now, Mr. Edward Joseph. I believe you had some points to make about the role of deep state that's increasingly growing, not just in the United States, but I believe across the world. How do you think this can be adequately addressed going forward?
It can be addressed moving forward by seeing responsiveness and transparency by the law enforcement agencies that are charged with in bringing this matter forward, investigating it thoroughly, and bringing the facts forward by acting quickly and transparently. That's what we have to hope for. But it's very important that in the face of all of the conspiracy theories and reckless, unsubstantiated claims that circulate these days on social media, that the proper media, the actual responsible media, are themselves disciplined and abide by the standards of not trafficking in rumor and of applying the standard journalistic approach of establishing a source before reporting on developments, and in most cases having that source be named and not using too many anonymous sources, and qualifying where and why an anonymous source is used. So that's what's very important here, is it's for the Secret Service, the FBI, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. These are the main law enforcement organizations that are active in this investigation, for them to act quickly and transparently and get facts out before the public. But we know that it's a terrible competition these days on social media, because anyone is his own media entity. Anyone. So anyone with a social media account and can declare himself a media source. Oh, I heard this, or there was a security lapse, or the Secret Service, deliberately looked the wrong way. And they can promote these type of very dangerous theories, and then they circulate around on social media, and people accept them without qualifying or without questioning. So that's very much a concern, because we have to remember that dovetails with the beliefs of many of the followers of Donald Trump. So it would be a problem in any case, but it's especially a problem where you have this as a core component of the Trump appeal. We're going to go after the deep state, and it's conspiratorial in its whole approach. And so that's what we have to hope, that these law enforcement agencies will be swift. Let's hope that we get the name of this suspect shooter who's apparently been killed. Let's hope his name comes out very soon. That will say a lot there. Then journalists can quickly develop his background and share his background, who he was, what were his social media postings, what was his background. So this was the case, for example, the shooting that happened of several Republican members of Congress, including the current House Majority Leader, Steve Scalise, who was shot. The identity of the shooter in that case who was killed by Capitol Hill police, was then quickly known and it was identified. And there were not any elaborate conspiracies in that case. Please.
Oh, well, I do take your point about reporting with sources, but just want to add in here, we were only reporting what the eyewitnesses had said, and as responsible media, it is also our responsibility to play out exactly how sequence of things pan out. I also want to play out that exact eyewitness account in a short while now. Of course, we did give a disclaimer, it was not an official word. Before that, to our viewers, want to show the statement that Joe Biden said.
I've been thoroughly briefed by all the agencies in the federal government as to the situation, based on what we know now. I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. And I want to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies, that have been engaged in making sure that the people and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if I'm not able to if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is that the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I am able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well. But so far, it appears he's doing well, number one. Number two, that they're thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Has anything happened? They learned any more in the last couple hours. So thank you very much, and I hope I get to speak to them tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do, okay?
Mr. President, do you think there was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough I have an opinion, but I don't have any facts. So I want to make sure we have all the facts before I make any more comments. Thank you.
Are you worried? Viewers, it's time now for a very quick break on this bulletin, a compulsive commercial break, but I request all my guests to stay in with us, so we will come back to you after a very short while.
US President Donald Trump, who is in the race for the presidency once again, has escaped an assassination attempt. He has escaped an assassination bid, and what we're learning is that at least 6 shots were fired at Donald Trump's rally, and world leaders have condemned this attack. Prime Minister Modi has also condemned the attack. And how does this really affect the presidential race? Does it reshape the presidential race in the United States? We'll get you all the analysis and the latest updates on Republic TV. Stay tuned.
Amity University Dubai has been awarded as the best university campus in the Middle East by Forbes magazine and recognized as the best university for job placements. Jumpstart your global career in Dubai with Amity, with faculty and students from over 50 nationalities. Visit amity.edu/Dubai.
The spirit of entrepreneurship and startups in the air. I met so many other startups. Of course, I think the hunger of Arnav and the way he aspires for creating an enterprise is incredible.
How you could make a fledgling Oroville travel organization to this global, huge enterprise that you've already created so fast. How was it possible for you?
I think my dad always said that if you keep digging, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. And I think it's a saying also. So for me, I felt that ab to andar aa gaye andhera hai, to if I keep digging, there will be light at the end of the tunnel. So I was very perseverant. I didn't give up. No matter what, I would not give up. And one person you can't write off is me. I'm like that person that you write off, the next morning I will show up again, and I will show up until I make a difference.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Let me get my shoes. I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we got to move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay, my shoes down. My shoes.
Watch out.
Wait.
Former US President Donald Trump, who is in the race for the presidency once again, has escaped an assassination attempt. He has escaped an assassination bid. And what we're learning is that at least 6 shots were fired at Donald Trump's rally. And world leaders have condemned this attack. Prime Minister Modi has also condemned the attack. And how does this really affect the presidential race? Does it reshape the presidential race in the United States? We'll get you all the analysis and the latest updates on Republic TV. Stay tuned.
Amity University, Dubai has been awarded as the best university campus in the Middle East by Forbes magazine and recognized as the best university for job placements. Jumpstart your global career in Dubai with Amity, with faculty and students from over 50 nationalities. Visit amity.edu/Dubai.
Creating a world using sapphire to power change. Manufacturing semiconductors by resident Indians. India, pushing boundaries of possibility and innovating a brighter tomorrow. Semiconductors from India, now from Polymatic.
Ключевым вопросом является обеспечение безопасности региона в целом и людей. Мы это обязательно сделаем, мы добьемся этого, сомнений нет никаких. Вижу и такие вещи, на которые нельзя не обращать внимания, связанные с тоже безопасностью. Это прежде всего, конечно, безопасность атомной электроэнергии.
Welcome back, viewers. We're continuing our rolling coverage on Donald Trump assassination bid. We want to play out some of the top eyewitness reactions that are coming in at the moment.
That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
I'm at the Trump rally and somebody just started shooting. What just happened? Oh my God.
Go. Like what we heard, the bullets rattling around the grandstand. One hit the speaker tower, and then chaos broke. We hit the ground, and the police converged to the grandstands.
First thing I heard was a couple of cracks. Then I saw a hydraulic line. One of the speakers looked like it had gotten hit. Then I heard like Chris just had a couple of bullets rattling around, and then we hit the deck. And once the authorities converged, we assisted with two patients that may have gotten shot up in the grandstand, and we cleared a path for getting them out of the way. And it's just a sad day for America.
That's exactly where I heard him come from.
What did you see, sir?
I heard the shots. I thought it was firecrackers to begin with. Somebody over there was screaming, he's been shot, he's been shot. So I made my way over. I said, I'm an emergency department physician. Let me help you. The guy had spun around, was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here. There was lots of blood, and he had brain matter there. And so I got him. There's a helicopter coming in to get him. So I got people there really helpful. I got him up on a bench.
Shot that you saw?
Then I did CPR, did chest compressions, as well as I breathed for him.
One person?
I was the only one that did it.
We need to evacuate everybody.
Former US President Donald Trump, who is in the race for the presidency once again, has escaped an assassination attempt. He has escaped an assassination bid. And what we're learning is that at least 6 shots were fired at Donald Trump's rally. And world leaders have condemned this attack. Prime Minister Modi has also condemned the attack. And how does this really affect the presidential race? Does it reshape the presidential race in the United States? We'll get you all the analysis and the latest updates on Republic TV. Stay tuned.
Asia's largest news headquarters. Setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
A very good morning, viewers. We are live in Breaking Republic TV, and I'm Rakhta Misha with you. We'll get you the latest that's coming in from the United States. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has been attacked. It is being treated as an assassination attempt, and he's escaped this attack. We will get you all the latest, but first up are the headlines this hour.
American Pistachio presents cracking news of the hour.
Shots fired at former U.S. Shots fired at former U.S. President Donald Trump at his rally in Pennsylvania. Former U.S. President rushed off the stage by Secret Service. Law enforcement agencies initiate probe into assassination bid after multiple shots were fired during Trump's rally. Reports suggest that possibly 2 shooters were active and that the assassin was atop a building 100 meters away from the spot and was shot dead. Preliminary information suggests that an AR-style rifle, that is an assault rifle, was recovered from the spot of this attack.
There's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And everybody must condemn it.
President of the United States Joe Biden issues statement, says everybody must condemn this attack on Donald Trump, hopes to speak. In fact, he has spoken with Donald Trump. Elon Musk calls out security lapses, says head of United States Secret Service should resign. Global leaders condemn attack on former President Donald Trump. Prime Minister Modi also tweets condemning the incident. Now, viewers, it's been a dramatic turn of events during Donald Trump's rally in Butler of Pennsylvania. At least 7 rounds were fired towards the former U.S. president, and he is a Republican candidate for the presidential elections this year. And Trump had a narrow escape. He was escorted out by the Secret Services and quick responders. There you have that visual. The primary suspect and his aide were gunned down. Trump's shooting has been investigated as an attempted assassination. In fact, this appears to be the first assassination attempt since Ronald Reagan was shot in 1981. Trump was injured in the shootout, but statements put out by various officials confirm he is in good spirits. Now, let's show you this entire sequence, how it panned out, and what really followed after the gunshots were fired. Listen in.
It's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Let me get my shoes. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we got to move to the bus.
Let me get my shoes.
Okay, my shoes down. Get the shoe.
Watch out.
Wait.
So that was that horrific incident, the attack on former United States President Donald Trump. In fact, he was whisked away from that rally after this apparent attack. Now, there are multiple reactions and wishes that are coming in for his good health. Condemnation also of this attack is also pouring in from all sides of the political aisle and around the globe. Listen into what the world leaders have to say.
I've been thoroughly briefed by all the agencies in the federal government as to the situation, based on what we know now. I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. And I want to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies, that have been engaged in making sure that the people and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if I'm not able to if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is that the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I am able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well. But so far, it appears he's doing well, number one. Number two, that they're thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Has anything happened? They learned any more in the last couple hours. So thank you very much, and I hope I get to speak to them tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do, okay?
Mr. President, do you think there was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough to, I have an opinion, but I don't have any facts. So I want to make sure we have all the facts before I make any more comments. Thank you.
Are you worried, President?
Now, Trump's rallies, eyewitnesses say that there was blood on a couple of people that got splattered after those shots were fired. Listen in to their account.
I'm at the Trump rally and somebody just started shooting. What just happened? Oh my God.
More like what we heard. The bullets rattling around the grandstand. One hit the speaker tower, and then chaos broke. We hit the ground, and the police converged to the grandstands.
First thing I heard was a couple of cracks. Then I saw a hydraulic line. One of the speakers looked like it had gotten hit. Then I heard, like Chris said, a couple of bullets rattling around. And then we hit the deck. And once the authorities converged, we assisted with two patients that may have gotten shot up in the grandstand, and we cleared a path for getting them out of the way. And it's just a sad day for America.
That's exactly where I heard him come from.
What did you see, sir?
I heard the shots. I thought it was firecrackers to begin with. Somebody over there was screaming, he's been shot, he's been shot. So I made my way over. I said, I'm an emergency department physician. Let me help you. The guy had spun around, was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here. There's lots of blood, and he had brain matter there. And so I got him. There's a helicopter coming in to get him. I got people there really helpful. I got
Was there
him
only
up
one
on a
person
bench.
shot that you saw?
Then I did CPR, did chest compressions as well as I breathed for him.
One person?
I was the only one that did it.
We need to evacuate everybody.
Right, we have some breaking news coming in right now, viewers, as we speak. The latest update coming in on this assassination attempt on Donald Trump. The FBI and the Secret Service are all set to brief the media shortly, and that is the big update we have right now. A media briefing by the FBI and the Secret Service is expected very shortly from here on. Remember, there are multiple questions that are being raised on the Secret Service, and the security lapses are being now pointed out. In fact, even Elon Musk has called for the resignation of the Secret Service chief, and that, of course, is something that is a matter of concern. This is a former president of the United States, and of course, he is once again in the race for presidency. And now, what we know is that the FBI, the top service, the top secret service also, the Secret Service and the FBI, the top security agencies and the investigative agency of United States of America are going to brief the media because the information right now as far as who was the attacker is unclear, and we expect that the FBI and the Secret Service will make it clear. And in fact, viewers, we will continue our conversation on this attack. My colleague, in fact, we have been joined by special guest Utsav Chakraborty, who is the Executive Director, Hindu Action, and Ritesh Tandon, who is US congressional candidate from Silicon Valley, is also joining us live on the broadcast. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us here at Republic TV. Ritesh, tell us what are you picking up? Because yes, we do expect the FBI to, in fact, brief the media soon. The people of United States need to know the truth, what has really happened. But this is an absolute shocker, a big security lapse, or maybe what even Elon Musk is saying could be deliberate attempt. How do you see this?
I'm very shocked to, first of all, see this part, but I'm very happy at the same time President Trump is safe, and sad, like I'm very sad, like the person who was attending the rally passed away. Condolences to his family. But this is, I can say, well planned. When the person was going up, it was crawling on the roof, there were the people who pointed out to the Secret Service as well as the police that there is someone with a gun, but no action was taken. And President Trump, when he's attending the rally, there is like conversation going on, even between my friends as well, that he's so unsafe. He's walking like how Narendra Modi used to do it earlier, and he's very unsafe because the people, they have gone far left here in America right now. They want to do everything and get away. And this is what exactly is happening. And President Trump, he's our rising star. He's our only hope right now. When he'll come back to the power, he can fix so many things. So people are afraid. And that's the whole reason why there is all the attempt to put him behind the bar, to put an attack on him and do everything to stop him from becoming president. It's very sad. And I can tell you from the Secret Service or FBI, nothing will be there. They will only say that this person was person X or some mentally ill person, and they will get away with the story.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that, Mr. Tandon? Because this is we're not talking about candidate. This is a former president of the United States, and the United States has had a history of assassination attempts. And after Ronald Reagan, for decades, we're seeing a similar attempt that has been made. Secret Service, FBI have many questions to answer here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can say that one of the California senator who is in charge for the Secret Service committee, he has already called for the hearing. But I still believe that the attempt, what is done on the President Trump, is not the last one. There are the people who don't want him to be there in the office. There are the people who just want him to go away. And this is happening. We are seeing this part in America, and I'm very sad, I can say, that I know what to describe, but very thankful to God that President Trump is safe, and he will be our president. I'm full confident on this part.
How is it possible? There are many questions that are being pointed out. Even if you see the public is divided, there are many people who are calling it as a conspiracy. It's a planned attack, that someone goes in with an entire assault rifle kit and nobody even notices. How is it even allowed? How is it that the security agencies or the security personnel on ground do not spot that? And people are, of course, pointing many fingers if you talk about what's going on. Even in social media, I mean, there are people, we understand that everybody is, they're divided with who they want to support for this presidential election. But there are many questions that are being raised that is there someone behind this attack?
So exactly at this time, we don't know who is and what is his motive. But one thing I can say that Secret Service, when the person actually who was attending the rally, I heard his entire interview. And he was saying that the person is crawling with the gun, and he pointed out to Secret Service, he pointed out to the security forces, but they were just looking at him. They haven't done anything. So in fact, I hope that if there is any conspiracy, it will unfold in the coming days. But this is, I can say that all the attempts to remove him from the office, which he'll be getting in 2025. And one more thing I want to mention, that far left, they have gone very far right now. And this is I see the end of democracy, because we are already seeing here in America where the Indian shops, Indian jewelries, and all those things, they are openly looted, and no actions are taken, nobody is caught. And same thing is replicated right there on the presidential level right now. And I can tell you, there will not be any clue, and no one will be further penalized, because a person, they have already killed a person. Everything is gone right now. So nobody will know exactly what happened and who is behind.
Mr. Tandon, there are any, already there, analysis that is coming out. How does this really affect, the presidential campaign from here on for both the sides? How does this really affect? In your view, how do you think does this really impact this race from here on?
What I believe that President Trump will become even more stronger. While he was walking away, he was strong enough to come out and cheer up to his attendees. And I think that people, they realize that not only all the criminal attacks which was done on him in the court on the Trump, now along with the life-threatening attack, I can say the President Trump today has become even more stronger, and he will be president in the year 2025. Okay. And it is good actually that many people, those who are far liberal, sitting on the side, talking all the nonsense, they will exactly get what is happening right now in America. And it is time only President Trump can stop this thing, not anyone else.
Right. There's, I'll go to Utsav Chakraborty, who's also with us on the broadcast. Mr. Chakraborty, of course, there are many questions that are being raised that how did this really happen? Because this is a high-profile rally. It's a former candidate, and a man goes in with an assault rifle, and he's not very far away, and he has, the audacity to fire 7 shots there. How do you really interpret this? How do you really see this?
So it is absolutely a failure of security on the part of the law enforcement agency. There is no doubt about that. And as it was discussed a few moments ago, there were eyewitnesses who did warn the Secret Service as well as the local authorities. That's what I have seen being claimed, and I saw a lot of reporting on that they did warn that there was somebody on top of a roof with a line of sight, which is very, in VVIP security, that's the first thing people look at to make sure that there is no line of sight towards the dignitary or the person being protected. So there certainly seems like there was a severe lapse of security. And I do believe that this thing happened because for very long in American political discourse, the demonization of the opposition had taken such a severe root that it was literally, being openly discussed. Like the political discourse here has become so polarized. And, you could see that people were unhappy at the way the Trump cases were being taken, done in New York. You could see that there is so much political divisiveness that any incident like this could have easily happened. And I am very, very thankful, that nothing worse happened. And, it's really unfortunate that one person who was in audience at the rally lost her life, I believe. And, that's really tragic. But I'm happy that President Trump succeeded to, stay alive. And it was providence, I believe. And there needs to be a serious conversation in America on the political discourse that's happening here and the way politics is being played here. Crime has gone up tremendously in this country. So, yeah.
No, Ritesh, in fact, Mr. Tandon, since you're also a Congress candidate and, the debate over crime, the debate over shooting, the incidents of shooting have, shot up massively. And this incident, this attack, once again brings back the focus on the gun laws, on shooting, on the crime rate in United States. How do you see this?
So you said it very correctly. In fact, in California right now, if you steal anything worth $950 and above, you get away with it. We see even my friend's store, Nitin Sony's store, Nitin Jewelers, 15 people, they walk in, they take away with $1.5 million worth of goods. Not only this part, same model, same strategy was replicated in 3 other Indian jewelry stores in last few weeks. Nothing has been done. In fact, the people, they are openly looting here, and the government, they are bringing the rules not to take action against them, but to protect them. And this is far left Democrat.
Right, getting a news briefing, we'll have to right now pause that discussion with our guests right now. The FBI and the Secret Service is briefing the media.
All right. So my name is Kevin Rojek. That's R-O-J-E-K. I'm the special agent in charge of the FBI Pittsburgh field office. The first thing I want to say is that the FBI stands with the people of Butler County in western Pennsylvania, and our hearts go out to the victims of this heinous act which occurred today. This is our community, and I want to let the public know that the FBI has deployed a number of our resources, including investigative agents, our evidence response team, bomb technicians, and we have additional resources coming from other field offices, as well as from FBI headquarters, including our evidence response from Quantico, Virginia. We have intelligence analysts as well, working from our field office in Pittsburgh, working feverishly to attempt to identify the individual who did this and any motives behind why this was done. Right now, we need the public's help. Anyone who was on scene, who saw anything, who identified any information, please report that to the FBI using either the phone number 1-800-CALL-FBI or online at fbi.gov/Butler. This evening we had what we're calling an assassination attempt against our former president, Donald Trump. It's still an active crime scene. As I mentioned, we have a number of agents on scene. We also are working closely with other federal agencies, our state partners, and our local police partners as well. Again, at this time, we are not prepared to identify who the shooter is. We are close to that identification, and as soon as we are 100% confident in who that individual is, we will share it with the press. With that being said, also, we do not currently have an identified motive, although our investigators are working tirelessly to attempt to identify what that motive was. At this time, I'm going to turn over the podium to Colonel Chris Paris from the Pennsylvania State Police.
Thank you very much. My name is Colonel Chris Paris, P-A-R-I-S, Commissioner of Pennsylvania State Police. I would just like to say that the State Police have been in regular contact with the Governor's Office, and the full support and assets of the entire agency are behind the FBI and our other federal and municipal partners to assist with this investigation. The thoughts and prayers of the Pennsylvania State Police are likewise with the victims of this terrible act. We are prepared to support this investigation in any way, shape, or form, and we stand ready to participate in a full, fair, and competent a thorough investigation. To give you an operational rundown, Deputy Commissioner of Operations, Lieutenant Colonel George Bivens, is behind me, and he will discuss the operational portion that's being conducted by the Pennsylvania State Police. Lieutenant Colonel Bivens.
Good evening. So let me describe for you a little bit about the scene that we have over there. As you know, there was a grandstand, a very large area, a lot of people there when this all unfolded. The former president had come out and begun to speak shortly after 6 o'clock this evening. And within about 10 to 15 minutes, a number of sounds were heard, and it became apparent that shots were being fired in that direction. It was a chaotic scene. Law enforcement, I believe, acted heroically, quickly identifying and neutralizing the threat, as well as responding to assist the various victims. PSP had a significant presence on the scene along with all of our federal partners at the time of the shooting. We have since enhanced that presence significantly, bringing in resources from all over the Commonwealth to ensure that we have a speedy, thorough investigation. We are working very closely with the FBI as we work through this. As you can imagine, because of the variety of crimes that have been committed, some are under federal jurisdiction, some are under state jurisdiction. And so, we're working through all of that, not an issue at all. We work seamlessly. But the FBI has maintained the lead on the attempted assassination. PSP will take the lead on the homicide and the shootings of the other individuals in the grandstand area. And so there are a lot of witnesses to be interviewed, a lot of things to be processed. There were some complicators that hopefully the next time we speak we can describe for you, but some complicators that slowed down some of the processing and the positive identification of the shooter. But know that at this time we have no reason to believe that there is any other existing threat out there. We are doing everything we can to make sure that this is thoroughly investigated, and that if there is any information developed that anyone else was involved, that between PSP and the FBI, that will very quickly be followed up on. So I think at this time we would open it up to questions from all of you.
Was this a lone wolf attack?
Again, I think it's too early to say that. We have one shooter tentatively identified, but we're not stopping there. We're following up on a lot of information. It will be some time until we can conclusively say or answer that question, I think.
How long do you think that gun was hiking up there? I mean, we saw the snipers up there, as the crowds were kind of rolling in and looked like they had a pretty good viewpoint to check everyone out. So how long could that guy have been up there?
Again, that will all be part of the investigation, but
Can you come up to the mic?
that will all be part of the investigation. But I can tell you that preliminarily it appears everything unfolded very quickly. So, again, we'll have more information on that, but it's just too early to start definitively saying this happened at this exact time.
But it wasn't like he was inside the security perimeter, right? That building he was on was outside of it?
That's correct.
How far outside of it?
We'll have that information for you. It was some distance outside of the
Colonel, can you comment on reports that there were people who saw someone on the roof and tried to alert authorities?
We're following up on those. I will tell you that I am aware of those, and I am aware that law enforcement had responded to a number of reports of suspicious activity. The specific response to this will be all part of the after action, but yes, law enforcement was responding to check on several suspicious occurrences.
What were the other suspicious occurrences?
That'll all be part of the investigation.
Right, that was the FBI press briefing right now.
Did he have any affiliation with that company, do you know?
So again, we're not prepared at this time to provide the identity.
That's the FBI press briefing right now, and they're also saying that they're close to identifying the shooter involved. In fact, they're not going public with the details yet, what they have gathered as far as the attacker is concerned, and they will investigate the matter. It's still an active site, says the FBI, and the security sweep is being carried out, and that was FBI's brief statement to the press after the assassination attempt on former United States President Donald Trump. So that is what we're getting right now, viewers. Pennsylvania is the city where this shootout took place, this attack took place. The shooter was shot dead. You can see to the right of your screens, that is the place, that is the building atop which from where he actually attacked Donald Trump. He fired 7 rounds. He fired 7 rounds, and now, as per the FBI and the Secret Service, they are close to getting the details, and as far as the identification is concerned.
At this point that we're aware of, it could have been a lot worse.
Absolutely.
Are you able to comment more about that and how it was taken care of so quickly?
So I think the credit goes to not only the Secret Service, who was on site, but also the state and local partners who were there on site and were able to react immediately when the incident occurred.
Do you know how many officers fired their weapons?
I do not.
I understand that it's very early and there's still going to be a lot of questions, but I mean...
At this point, we're not going to make that assessment. There's an active investigation. A lot of things need to occur investigatively to make those determinations of what, if any, failures there were. So we can't comment on that at this time.
So you can't say if Secret Service had checked those buildings, or we're keeping a close eye, or
really have to defer to Secret Service for those questions.
Was there any law enforcement at the AGR property prior to the event? And were there police at that location at any point during the event?
Are you saying the location where the shooter was located?
Yes.
I don't have any information on that. You'd have to refer to Secret Service.
when do you think you will release? When will the name of the shooter be released? I mean, any inkling of when that might happen, tomorrow, or?
So that'll be as soon as we've confirmed 100%, we're willing to release that. So if we have, as far as the contact information for the press, we should be able to do that within the next few hours, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So there was a vehicle being checked not far from here. We've also heard of a possible related scene in Bethel Park. Is there anything you can tell us tonight about other areas where law enforcement may be searching in relation to this event?
Again, right now we're tracking down all leads and doing all interviews and tracking anything that we can regarding suspicious locations, vehicles, locations, interviewing individuals. So it's all related to this event, but I can't confirm or deny anything that's going on beyond that.
Have you tell us about the weapon that the shooter used?
Details of the weapon?
Yeah, what kind of rifle?
Do you want to comment on that?
What did he use? Until it's confirmed, I will comment.
Okay. Until we have the confirmation of who the shooter is.
All right, that is the press briefing by the FBI, and they're saying that the investigation is right now underway, that shots were fired towards Donald Trump, and that is a statement that has been put out. They're close to identifying the man who attacked Donald Trump. However, they say they're still not close to identifying the cause, the motive.
Abundance of caution. Bomb assets to make sure that those were cleared for investigators to move safely in the area. We're still working on, it's still an active crime scene, so I'm not going to say that the scene is 100% clear at this time.
Why are there any Secret Service agents here right now for the press conference?
The Secret Service wasn't available for the press conference at this time.
I understand what packages are you talking about? You're talking about packages, but the suspicious packages like what? You're the shooter.
Really anything. I don't have specifics on what they were looking at, but there's people in the crowd will leave bags as they're fleeing the scene like this. So any suspicious packages we have to treat as it may be an explosive device.
And how quickly, this goes in, I guess, the Secret Service, which we're not here to talk about, I guess, but when you guys jumped into action, all law enforcement and were able to take down that shooter, how quickly did everybody and who ended up taking him out?
So it was immediate, and we're still trying to figure that out. So we'll wait till we have more definitive information regarding that investigatively.
What about the person in the crowd? Do you have any information about how they were killed?
My understanding was it was from the shooter, but again, those will be details that are released later.
Do you search homes or apartments as a part of your method of identifying the individual?
So if that's where the leads take us, absolutely.
Was Donald Trump hit with a bullet, do you know for sure, or was it potentially something else that could have?
I don't have that specific information as far as the injuries to the former president.
I understand you're not releasing the suspect's identification right now, but as you know it, is this person known to you guys? Is he somebody that you guys have been looking at due to threats he's possibly made online, et cetera, et cetera?
Again, the information that we currently have, we're looking at that obviously very intently, and as we know that information, we'll release that as well. So we'll need to plan another time for a follow-up press conference. We're looking at all investigative leads and all everything from, and that's why we asked the public, because I'm sure there'll be cell phone video, there'll be all kinds of information that we'll use to fully flesh out exactly what happened here.
I know you're saying you can't say what type of gun it is, but do you know how many shots were fired?
I don't.
And
I don't have that information as far as that'll come out in the investigation as well.
Is there an identification tonight on the other victims?
As far as the civilians,
civilians that were injured and killed.
Yeah.
So we do have identification on those. We're not prepared to release it at this time. We have notified a number of family members, but they have not had an opportunity to notify extended family and things. I would confirm for you that we did have one individual killed, and I know I heard somebody say about 2 victims. There were 3 in total besides the former president. So 2 critically wounded, 1 killed.
At this point, do you know if they were sitting near each other and where in relation to the former president were they?
I don't have their exact seating by individual. Again, that'll all be part of the investigation, but their shots were scattered somewhat, and so they weren't just into one particular location.
you're saying just one fatality as of right now?
Yes.
The shooter and 1 fatality.
The shooter plus 1 fatality.
Oh, thank you.
So there was 1 victim of the shooter who was killed, and then the shooter was killed.
And then 2 incredible.
Yes, ma'am.
Witnesses say they saw a semi-automatic rifle used by the shooter. Can you share any more details of it? That's what you
I've heard those reports as well, and again, we do have a good idea of what the weapon was, but again, that's all part of the ongoing investigation. And I'm not trying to be cagey about that. When the SAC talked about the need to be very methodical and to be cautious with that scene, we are doing just that. We don't want anybody else getting hurt, and candidly, there are some concerns that we'll be able to talk more about later on about just what those concerns are and continue to be.
Have you talked to the shooter's family yet?
That's all part of the investigation.
After the event, there were a lot of really angry people. Are you monitoring? Have there been any threats in response to this? Are you worried? Have there been any specific threats?
That's certainly a concern, and we're monitoring that whole situation. I mentioned that we're bringing a lot of assets to bear, and so like the FBI utilizing their analysts, we also have the Pennsylvania Criminal Intelligence Center. We will utilize the resources of our intelligence division and the Criminal Intelligence Center to be able to monitor for concerns about any threats, regardless of the side of the issue or the political spectrum. We want to make sure that we try and avoid any further violence.
But no, nothing specific so far?
No, sir.
Without identifying them by name, can you say anything about the other folks who were injured or killed? Were they adults, men, male, female, anything at all?
They were adults, and they're male.
All 3?
Yes.
How difficult the day is this for your department, though, or all your departments to go talk to these family members, including the civilians who were gunned down while they just went to a rally to try and, celebrate, I guess, the upcoming election? What are those conversations like, and how do you kind of get through that?
We have trained investigators, and we're partnered hand in hand with the FBI, again, because we've got some federal violations, some state violations, and so our investigators are going out and methodically. We have a large team of investigators that are going out, dividing up these interviews and trying to conduct them as quickly as possible, and then there will be follow-ups. With the FBI asking for people to call in tips, I have no doubt that we will receive a lot of additional information that will also require follow-up. But again, we're working very well together, and it's only a short matter of time until we get through all of those interviews.
From your experience, how close a call was it for President Trump?
There were no police hit with bullets.
From your experience, how close a call was it for?
I'm not going to speculate or comment on that.
Have any of you talked to the president? Did any of you have any kind of reaction?
No.
Which law enforcement agencies were tasked with securing this particular rally outside of the United States Secret Service?
Well, Secret Service always has the lead on securing something like this, but then they work very closely. And I hate to use the word routine, but it is a fairly routine matter for all of our agencies to work jointly with the Secret Service. And it really depends on the venue, on what information is out there, what number of resources are devoted to it, and we work with them to provide whatever is requested by the Secret Service, but they're the lead in that security.
Was there anything about this venue that made it particularly difficult to secure?
I would defer to the Secret Service to answer that. They would have done the initial assessment.
Was the rooftop part of what was being secured? Was the rooftop, given its proximity to the event, part of that process?
It's my understanding that was outside of the perimeter.
Did this shooter have any previous criminal history?
We're not going to comment on anything about the shooter.
Did any agency deny Trump's team extra security? Any of the agencies that are up there?
Not that I'm aware of.
If Trump had been the nominee already, would he have had additional security for this event?
There again, Secret Service has the lead, and I'm not going to comment or speculate on what may or may not be provided at any given point, depending on their status as a candidate. What I will tell you is that in my experience, the Secret Service does an excellent job of maintaining security on protectees. They're very cautious. They don't hesitate to ask for resources, and candidly, we don't hesitate to supply those resources.
Deputy Colonel, you're asking for the public's help. Can you elaborate and be more specific about what you'd really like to see from the public? If it's videos, photos, personal accounts?
I think the videos and photos would be very helpful, and I think that once the shooter is identified, anyone that has specific information on that shooter, that would be very helpful as well to help us assess motive. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we are absolutely not taking for granted that this was a lone wolf attack, and so we would be looking for any additional information that might point us toward anybody else that may have had a hand in this.
Sir, at this point, what is the main focus of the investigation? What's the most important thing for you right now, a few hours?
Well, there's not any one single focus. I mean, certainly the immediate focus was life safety, getting the former president out of there, and to care, getting care to the other victims, and trying to secure the scene as quickly as possible. It shifted then from a life safety priority to then an investigative priority. And so I guess if I had to point to where we are right now, the single greatest priority would be to identifying a motive and whether there was anyone else involved.
We're just beginning the political season. Are you guys concerned with all of these rallies that happen and how they're set up? Is this going to change maybe the venues?
Again, I would refer you to the Secret Service in terms of what they work out with the campaigns. We will continue to supply resources, as I'm sure the FBI will, and local partners as well.
When this was announced, it was, there was quite a few days of a heads up that people were getting ready to come to this Trump rally. From a law enforcement perspective, when you announce a big event like this, all that time in advance and a week out, does it give people more time to plan something like this?
Well, I suppose, but there's a balance, I would think, that any of the campaigns on either side try to weigh. I mean, the point of them announcing it, I suspect, is because they want the crowd, and so it's not up to us in law enforcement to tell them when they should announce or how they should announce or how they should conduct it. We offer our best advice, again, working hand in hand with the Secret Service, offer our best advice of how best to secure and protect that venue.
Sir, considering how many people were there, and you have packed in there, and you have somebody in an elevated position with potentially a high-powered rifle, how lucky is it that we were only talking about a couple of victims, as sad and tragic as that is?
Well, we're certainly grateful that we don't have even more victims. And again, in terms of how this could have occurred, that will be part of this after-action report and an investigation that occurs so that we can hopefully ensure that something like this doesn't happen again.
Has an autopsy been conducted yet, or is it scheduled?
It has not been conducted yet.
How many people were at the rally?
I do not.
If somebody has videos or photos, where should they send them?
So we have the 1-800 call FBI if you have audio tips, and then we set up a specific tip line for audio and video, and that's fbi.gov/Butler.
And they should send you just like any video? Like
Anything that anyone has that is related to this incident that they think may be of assistance investigatively, we'll take anything and we'll analyze it, and we'll make the determination if it's of investigative value. Go ahead.
So from what you've been briefed on, it sounds like law enforcement only knew he was up there until shots were fired. Is that what you're hearing?
So that is the assessment at this time.
So are you surprised that a sniper was able to fire off a handful of shots at the former president? I mean,
again, we're still working through the security apparatus that the Secret Service had in place, what potentially happened. There's going to be a long investigation into exactly what took place and how the individual was able to get access to the location, what type of weapon he had. All that it is really days, weeks, and months of investigation.
He was able to get off like 4 or 5 shots.
It is surprising, but again, to get all the details of that will come out later in investigation.
Going back to the perimeter of this building, I think it's going to be really difficult for people to understand.
Right now, and this is, of course, on the assassination bit on Donald Trump. And the FBI says that they still do not know about the motive. They're unclear about the motive. We'll get you more details on that, viewers. Sip into a very, very short break. Don't go anywhere.
You want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Amity University, Dubai has been awarded as the best university campus in the Middle East by Forbes magazine and recognized as the best university for job placements. Jumpstart your global career in Dubai with Amity, with faculty and students from over 50 nationalities. Visit amity.edu/Dubai.
मैंने कोई जिद बहस नहीं की। वहाँ पे लेडीज़ कांस्टेबल नहीं होती है, तो जहाँ लेडीज़ कांस्टेबल नहीं होती हमें भी पता होता है वहाँ नहीं होती है, बट उन लोगों ने कहा कि लेडीज़ कांस्टेबल, मैंने कहा बुलाओ, तो उसने मेरे से अभद्र बातें करना स्टार्ट कर दिया।
कमेंट कर
हाँ, अश्लील कमेंट कर रहे थे कि तुम मेरा कहा मानोगी तो तुम चैन पाओगी। मुझे गुस्सा बहुत तेज आ गया, मैं अपना मानसिक संतुलन खो बैठ।
right, viewers, we're getting in some information about the shooter. There you have the picture of the one who has attempted to assassinate former U.S. President Donald Trump, and that is the 20-year-old. He's been identified as a 20-year-old. This is the information we're getting. Shooter identified as Thomas Matthew Crooks, and he's a 20-year-old. There you have the picture of the attacker, and he is identified as a Pennsylvania local. That's the big update we're getting to you right now, viewers. And the FBI in this press briefing, as you said, that they're not close to identifying the motive. However, the pictures have come in. The shooter has been identified as Thomas Crooks, and Thomas Crooks is the man in this picture to the right of his screens. Thomas Matthew Crooks is the one who was the shooter, is the one who fired 7 shots at the Pennsylvania rally of Donald Trump. And he had no ID on him. That is what we know. He did not have any ID on him. And the DNA tests are on to confirm the identity, to confirm on his identity. And that is the big update we have right now. Remember, viewers, this man, the attacker, has been shot dead. He is killed. But he fired 7 shots in that rally. And remember, in this rally, 2 have been injured also. Before the shooter was taken down by the security personnel there, and this man did not have any ID. However, what we see the FBI saying is that we do not know the motive yet. He's a local. What we can tell you, viewers, that he's a Pennsylvania local. We'll get you more updates, viewers. Stay tuned to Republic TV as our coverage continues on the Trump assassination bid.
Want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Amity University Dubai has been awarded as the best university campus in the Middle East by Forbes magazine and recognized as the best university for job placements. Jumpstart your global career in Dubai with Amity, with faculty and students from over 50 nationalities. Visit amity.edu/Dubai.